Right guys, this will hopefully be a short one, but I have to say something about YouGov. They have trended on Twitter recently after putting out yet another questionable poll. In fact, everything they put out is questionable at this point, let's be honest. Now, before we get into that, remember to follow me on Odyssey, BitChute and my other channels linked down below. There is actually an Odyssey app on the iPhone or iPad now for those who use them. You can apparently pick this up on the iOS store. But back to YouGov and the topic at hand. I'm sure most of you would have seen their polls claiming over the past few months this many people support their lockdowns or restrictions, despite you in your own life likely knowing very few people, if any, who support them. I myself do not know a single soul in my personal life that supports these lockdowns or any of it these days, and those who supported Boris before now think he's a complete tosspot, and even many of you guys think that also. In fact, my recent poll compared with one I took early last year shows that pretty well. The media took the first poll 90% to 10, because even though politicians were known liars, the media blatantly lied about almost everything while claiming to be impartial. Now, less than a year on, the media still wins the poll as the least trusted scumbags of all, but the politicians' share has more than doubled in that short space of time. And actually, if both would have been added as an option to this poll, that would have won hands down based on the comments alone. It seems nowadays when it comes to government support and the support of lockdown, Twitter is the place that I seem to find it the most, emanating from paid bots, FPBE tosspots and die-hard socialist spunk trumpets, which is who I expect actually fill out the YouGov surveys. But you know what I find funny about all this is remembering back to Brexit and the 100 different polling companies telling us every day that the country did not support Brexit and would vote to remain, which history has obviously proven wrong, like everything the Remain camp said. But obviously, with this shit show, the only polling service that you really hear about is YouGov or maybe the odd Ipsos Mori poll, both of which have connections and agreements with international organisations like the World Economic Forum and ties to the government. So to me, and most people with a functioning brain cell left, literally have the credibility of Jeremy Corbyn at this point. A bit like Boris Johnson himself actually when I think about it. I now consider them both traitors to the people of this country after the past year we've been through. Well, Corbyn has been that for decades, but Boris is now trying to catch up. At this point, no, YouGov is essentially propaganda for the government, partly for the reasons already listed, but also because YouGov itself was founded by the UK's vaccine minister Nadhim Zahawi, among other snivelling shitweasels. Obviously, he is not there now, but it makes no difference in my mind. They could not be trusted before Brexit, and they certainly can't now. Even more so with the latest bullshit poll that they have put out, claiming 51% of people support the 10-year prison sentence for going on holiday to a red zone and lying about it to the government, when I am sorry to say there is absolutely no way in hell that half of the country supports this lunacy, unless of course you have a group of FPBE tosspots that see YouGov as a way to help shape policy, helping to drag this government into its own demise, which of course laws like this will do. The Tories, remember, claim to be the party of law and order, but proportional law and order, along with common sense government. Boris and his wank-stained ministers have shit all over that illusion recently, to the detriment of the country and their own political party. The Tories are fast becoming as hated as Labour in some parts of the country, because they are essentially one and the same thing now, moving in lockstep with each other to destroy this country and the lives of the people in it. Personally, I think we should all sign up to YouGov and start answering their polls to see if the figures actually change. My betting is they won't, because they are rigged from the start. Obviously, I can't prove this, but at this point, I find it extremely likely to be the case. Because if a few thousand sign up and their polls still offer the same results and numbers polled with no input from any of you guys, it will show to me what I have always thought was true. They don't actually ask the public, they ask certain groups inclined to answer the way they want, or they ask no one at all and just pull the numbers out of their own asses. Both are likely, in my opinion. I say this because according to their poll, 64% of the country think 10 years in prison or more is a good idea for lying to the government that lies to you every single day, even before the shit show that we find ourselves in now. Not for a moment do I believe that the British public think this. In fact, I expect they think murderers and rapists should be given at least 10 years when you consider that most get less than 5 for rape, and murder can often be below 10 years itself. I actually think the average for murder is something like 11 years, for fuck's sake. This whole country is beyond the joke at this point.